Welcome back to Ben's Garage. We are in the garage. Pandas behind me, Range Rovers in front of me. Now, last video we put out, I don't know if it's the last one or I don't know when this one's coming out. We did a little bit of off-roading, bit of overlanding. Had a little bit of a picnic out, bits and pieces. If you've got one of these Range Rovers, Range Rover L322, it's a big car. Boot space, not so much. It wouldn't be so bad if I wasn't in the wheelchair, but the wheelchair's got to go in. Now, we could get all our camping, not even camping gear, this is just our picnic gear. So we've got the Hobbit's fold-up deck chair. I mean, I can show you all these bits. This is cheap stuff, or it's stuff that we've already got. I got a fold-up table from Decathlon. Second time lucky, and it still turned up damaged. But there's only a slight crack in it this time. We've got the plug-in cool box. We've got the double ring gas burner and we've got a single ring gas burner. One's got the big camping gas, the other one has like the aerosol bottles. And we've got some boxes with like cutlery and bits and pieces. We've got a chopping board. Now, we could get all that in, but the Hobbit had to put the wheelchair in first and then put everything round it, which is not ideal because I'm sitting in the car waiting for the Hobbit to unload everything out the back before she can get to my wheelchair. So the plan was, I was going to get the wheelchair in the back of the car, measure all round it, and then build like a framework over the top of it so we can store stuff on top of the wheelchair so she can just pick it up and slide it into the back of the car. That wasn't going to work because the wheelchair takes up most of the boot space, and the idea that I had for a framework, I'll show you what I was going to use. Going back to the principle of using what we've got, I was going to use this timber. I don't know, I'll tell you how big it is. My trusty tape measure. That's 45 by 45, maybe a bit overkill, but it's what we've got. Now, I've got the wheelchair in the back there, and there wasn't a lot of space either side of it to build like a framework around it. So, how can we get this wheelchair in here so that the Hobbit can get to the wheelchair first, and then I can help her unload the car. We can unload, set up our little picnic spot, camp spot, whatever. Set up camp, basically. We've had numerous discussions, standing the wheelchair up, turning it round, putting it up the other way, going in the other direction. So what we've decided now, obviously it's a 60-40 split on the back seats. We have two dogs that sit on the back seat. They're going to have to huddle up. The smaller seat over on the passenger side, this is a left-hand drive car, so it's over on the right-hand side of the car. If we fold that down, the wheelchair stands up. It goes in backwards with the handles pointing towards the front of the car, and it goes in. So we've done that. I've got in, the bottom tailgate closes, the top tailgate closes, and with the seat down, there's the hoop for the catch that we can put a bungee around just to, with the brakes on the wheelchair, it doesn't tend to move, but if you're off-roading, you don't want it sliding back. And there was a piece, where was it? When you fold it up, the seat piece comes up between, you know, it folds up. It was about that far from the back window. If we bungee it to the catch, the seat catch, that should stay there out the way. It was easy for the Hobbit to pick it up, roll it in, put the brakes on, and it just stayed there. Go around to the door, just put a bungee cord on it, and it's done. We won't be taking all this camping gear every time. I'll show you what we've got here in a minute. But it's just overlanding on a budget using what we've got. This wood's not going to be used anymore. I've been through all sorts of things, you know, ideas with the roof rack, which we're put on hold for the time being. Although I've got a very, very good deal, I just can't afford it. We've got a lot of bills going out. Hobbit's not working, as you know, she's on treatment. I'm just on my disability benefit, and, you know, it is a struggle paying the bills at the moment, so we can't justify spending out for a roof rack. And then even then the Hobbit would have a job getting it up there. So I was going to make up some common device to lift it up there. But for now, this idea is going to work. The dogs are just going to have to snuggle up a little bit. There's still plenty of room for them on that back of that seat, and they'll be able to rest their head on the bit that's folded down, because we're not pushing the seat all the way, folding it down and pushing it forward. It's just folding the back down, and that's enough for the back of the wheelchair to go into the car, enough to clear the tailgate. So that is a bit of a revelation this afternoon we've just had. So we've got the Hobbit's, it's not the Hobbit's wheelchair, is it? Hobbit's deck chair and the decathlon table. I'll get them out in a minute, I'll show you to them. They're just cheap. I mean, I'm sat down anyway, I'm in the wheelchair. When we went out, I did the cooking on the tailgate. We put a cloth over we've got like one of them French tablecloths that are shiny and you can wipe them clean. I'll cut some of that up. That went on the tailgate, put the stove on it, and I had to cook some bacon. Lovely jubbly. Of course, where's the Hobbit going to sit? So we got her a deck chair and a folding table that we can both sit up to. The plug-in cool box, which we bought from Halfords years ago, but it works. If you can plug it in on the mains overnight, you can put a freezer cool block in it, and it's just the fan keeps the cool air running, circulating around it, and it does the job. And we've got the gas bottle and some other bits and pieces, and it seems that we can stack all that in the half of the boot, or the 2/3 of the boot that the wheelchair's not stood up in. When we get camping, if we get camping, which is going to be a long way down the line, for now it's just going to be off-roading and picnics. We'll set up a bivouac, that's what the French like to call it. But yeah, I was thinking of taking the rear seats out and making like a platform across the footwells and just putting like the dogs' beds in there so that they can still get behind the seats, and that'll give us a bit more room into the passenger space. But nah, you got to, if you ever want to take anyone out in your car, you got to put your seats back in. That's not an option, is it? So anyway, I've got some other bits and pieces I've ordered, cheap, for off-roading. I will do a video on that when it gets here. That is to do with airing down your tyres and pumping them back up again. Obviously, we've got the all-terrains on this, and it's good practice to air down your tyres if you're going over sort of rocks and gravel and sharp stones and that kind of thing. Gives you a longer footprint, softens your tyres up so they conform around the shapes, less likely to put a sharp puncture, a sharp thing through your tyre. I will be getting a puncture kit as well, but this compressor looks quite interesting. I'll leave that all to your imagination for the time being. As I say, it's all on a budget. I'm not going down the ARB route, which is, you know, stupid money for what you get. If money's no object, then you probably would do, but for us, it's an issue. Yeah, so we're getting there slowly. We're just going to be gathering bits and pieces up as time goes by. I do want to be looking at, probably next month, getting some recovery tracks, sand tracks. Max Track is the brand, isn't it? I'm going to get cheap ones off Amazon. I've watched reviews and this, that and the other on these recovery boards. It's just a way of self-recovery. When we was out the other day, we come up to a couple of really muddy patches, and it's sort of like, I know the car will do it. Not, you know, the tyres should do it, but you just never know, do you? And when you're out there on your own, you don't want to be taking chances. But if you've got a bit of an insurance policy, as in a winch or recovery boards, you'll give you more confidence to go through these sort of things. I'm not into all this wading up to your windscreen in rivers and stuff like that. But it was just a little bit of a, not an eye-opener, but it was sort of, we'd come around the corner and there was all this mud, and the Hobbit said, "Oh, don't you get us stuck." Well, I'll try not to. But I could see round the corner, it looked quite dry, so I thought, well, I'm not going to hammer it, because it was quite narrow, there was trees either side. But, yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? It's the Hobbit's deck chair. Folds up quite small. I'm not sure how it comes apart. I think it's something a bit like this. Like that. That goes into there. and then locks. Then like that. I think this locks in somehow. There you go. Nice little camp chair. Takes up to 130 kilos. So to release it, you do that. You can just pull this back down again, like so. Release that. Fold that down. You got a couple of handles. Decathlon special, that one. This is the table we got. It has got a crack in it, just on the, just there. What you do is you fold it, open it up. Slide that to lock the sides in. Slide that one. Pull the legs out, and you've got a table which sits at 70 centimetres. So just slide that up. Oh. Slide that one. Make sure all the feet are in there. And then that just locks up. Away you go. That's 80 centimetres squared when it's all open. Cheap as chips. And it should do us a good turn. Hopefully. So that's pretty much it for our camping gear. Camping picnic, you know. So far we've got some more bits and pieces that I've... Amazon's terrible. I've got a basket on Amazon that's got all kinds of stuff in it, but it's just having the old money in it. Yeah, I've got a few things lined up that will be coming. As I mentioned, I've got a compressor on its way. We're looking at these recovery track board things and some other bits and pieces. I will do videos all in due course. But that was just a way of how we can get stuff in the back of this car. If I was able-bodied and I didn't need the wheelchair, it would have been a piece of cake. But this old wheelchair, it does take up quite a lot of room. But we've figured out a solution. I tend to have a lot of stuff behind my seat on the floor, and the dogs normally get in the Hobbit side. Because she has her seat further forward, so there's a bit more room for them to jump up onto the floor and then up onto the seat. So we'll have to have a bit of a rearrange, and the stuff that's behind my seat will have to go behind the Hobbit seat while we're out, and the dogs are just going to have to try and get into the car on my side. And if it becomes a struggle when they get old, we'll have to just get one of those telescopic ramp things when they can just walk on up into the car. Thanks. Hobbits bring refreshments.
And these boxes.
So that's going to be it for this video. Nothing too exciting. Just thought I'd let you know what's been going on. I've been planning out this frame that I was going to build in the back of this car for well over a week. Thinking I'm going to do this, I'll do that, and then it's come to it. Put the wheelchair in the boot, and there's no way that I can make it because the wheelchair just takes up. I could make the frame, but the Hobbit would have to get it up onto the tailgate, and then it would be like Krypton Factor trying to get it in. Some of you younger viewers won't know what Krypton Factor is. Just have a little search on YouTube. Yeah, so I didn't want that because, you know, she'd be struggling enough as it is with her treatment and that. She's lost a bit of strength, but she's still ploughing on. Anyway, I didn't want her to be struggling to finagle the wheelchair into place. So this option is going to be best for all of us, I think. We're hoping to get back out on the trails in a week or so's time. I've got a couple of routes that I've got planned out. We just got to decide which one we want to take. We will bring you along with that for that, of course. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. So we'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.